Welcome to our podcast, Remembering Abolition, where we discuss the Underground Railroad and the abolition of slavery. I'm Lexy Davis.
And I'm Cecilia Goodin.
Today we have Owen Muelder of Knox College joining us to talk about a symbol of hope during America's period of slavery, a man by the name of Henry Box Brown.
Brown was born into slavery in Virginia, where he stayed until he made his famous escape.
Owen starts off by posing a very hypothetical situation for us, asking us how we would feel if our own mother, father, or siblings were sold when we returned home for the night.
Prefacing Brown's story this way really put it into perspective for us. It had us wondering the whole time, what if this was me?
He then starts to tell us a fascinating story of Henry Box Brown.
Brown comes back one night after working in this tobacco factory in Richmond, and his wife and 3 kids have been sold. And he goes through what psychologists would call today the obvious experience of depression and anger and remorse and loss. But he gets a hold of the name of a man by the name of James McKim.
James McKim was an ordained minister of the Presbyterian Church who swiftly became an abolitionist. He soon left the pulpit in order to help form the American Anti-Slavery Society and become the secretary for the Pennsylvania Anti-Slavery Society.
McKim was just the guy that Brown was looking for, someone who could offer him the best chance at freedom.
He got his address. He had 2 friends who helped him build a box.
James Caesar Anthony Smith, a free black man,
and Samuel Alexander Smith, a white slave owner.
They put Brown into this box. They drilled holes in it. They gave him some water. They wrote McKim's address in Philadelphia, and because these 2 men who aided him had access to taking the boxes to the Richmond Railroad station, they mailed him to Philadelphia. 27 hours in that box. And there's this wonderful sketch that we have of McKim and friends of his using crowbars to open up the box, and up emerges Brown, who forever after is known as Henry Box Brown.
The sketch that Muelder references depicts Brown's emergence from the box, surrounded by a few people. He is shown with McKim, who was the intended recipient, as well as Frederick Douglass, who was a stand-in for William Still.
Brown was a famous figure after a strenuous journey. He went on to search for his wife and kids, only to never find them. He pursued a career in entertainment, singing and performing for large crowds across the New England states. While performing, he solidified his abolitionist views, talking about his experience of being enslaved and his escape.
After a short stay in the States, Brown believed he was at risk to be put back into slavery due to the imminent passing of the Fugitive Slave Bill. He was assaulted in Rhode Island and immediately left to live his life freely in England.
Once in England, he continued acting and teaching others about slavery and the importance of abolition. He eventually married a woman whose name is lost in history, and he had a daughter named Annie.
Brown faced so many challenges in escaping. He never found the family he searched so desperately for, but was able to still find happiness in his new life with his wife and daughter. He passed peacefully of old age on June 15, 1897, in Toronto.
Brown created a legacy for himself. He managed to escape slavery and went on to share his story. He even managed to make a symbol out of himself and the box that he traveled to freedom in.
He serves as a great symbol and reminder of hope that was so desperately needed in order to keep fighting towards freedom. He was remembered as a symbol of hope by the people who needed it then, and the people who need it now. We thank Owen Muelder for the interview and retelling the story of Henry Box Brown. We thank Encyclopedia Virginia. We thank Virginia Museum of History and Culture. We thank Angelo Rizzo for the free sound off of freesound.org.
This concludes this episode of Remembering Abolition. We're Lexy
And Cecilia.
And if you have any more questions regarding this episode or any additional comments, please reach out to us at aldavis@knox.edu and cmgoodin@knox.edu.